So I just want to introduce our presenter, Emily Kawano, and she will be introducing herself and what she's going to be talking about, the solidarity economy. Emily, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, and thank you for being the room host. Appreciate it. And helping with the tech and all that. So yeah, nice to be here. Hello, thank you everybody for joining us, taking the time to come and talk about and learn about the solidarity economy. Hopefully for some of you it's you know a lot, and for some of you who don't know much of anything about solidarity economy, this will be pitched at a 101 level. So hopefully wherever you are in your journey of learning about solidarity economy, it'll work. So my name is Emily Kawano, she, her pronouns. I am based in Western Massachusetts. My day job is I'm the co-director of Wellspring Cooperative. We work in the Springfield Holyoke region of the Lower Valley of Western Mass. We do worker co-op development along with solidarity economy initiatives in underserved communities in those cities. I also have been working in the solidarity economy space for a long time. I'm one of the founders of the U.S. Solidarity Economy Network. I served on the board of the International Solidarity Economy Network for almost 10 years. I continue to be the co-coordinator of the U.S. Solidarity Economy Network. We've started up a local statewide solidarity economy network as well in Massachusetts. Yeah. What I'm going to run through with you is a Solidarity Economy 101, and this grew out of a collaboration between a number of us who are seasoned, popular educators, and yeah, it was a collaborative effort, and we've run this many times. So mostly it's you, maybe some of you have even seen it before. So with that, I am gonna get started. Oh, one last thing just to say, I am an economist by training, but I've been working in social movements of one sort or another pretty much all my life. And some of what I'm going to talk about draws on the fact that I'm an economist by training, and I spent many years being involved with, and for almost 10 years, I was the executive director of the Center for Popular Economics. So that's where a fair amount of stuff is coming from as well, just to acknowledge that. So I am going to share screen. Okay. And happy you will have the link to this slide deck. So if you want to get in touch, my email is here. All right, so a little bit of scene setting. As many of you know, we are in this historic moment, right, of these converging crises, a bunch of them, right? We had the pandemic and all the global supply chain breakdowns. We have all the emergencies and dire consequences of climate change. We saw all these racial justice uprisings, still seeing the fallout of all of that, those struggles. And we've also seen this, the rise of fascism, the very real threat of fascism. We continue to see growing inequality and growing concentration of power and economic fragility. So there's all these really scary things converging all at once. And while these are extraordinarily frightening times, it's also a time of great opportunity. Whenever you see these big crises, you also see that there's a greater openness to new ideas and new ways of doing things. A lot of people are feeling, whether they have words for it or not, they feel in their guts that the system isn't working for most people. So it's an opportunity to really be pushing for fundamental, radical, system-wide changes. Okay, so we're going to start off with this, a little interaction, a word cloud. So if you can grab that QR code on your phone, The question is capitalism. What does it mean to you? And you can enter as many words as you like. I am going to switch over to this screen. So again, that's the same QR code. If you want to grab that with your phone, or at the, oh, look, people are answering already. At the top also, if you want to type in menti.com and then you use that code 1159.18.2. So either way, we'll get you into the Mentimeter and you can start as many words as you like. What does capitalism mean to you? Just keep them coming. I'll give you a couple more minutes, get them in there. Let's make a big word cloud. Capitalism, what does it mean to you? So the bigger the word, the more times people have mentioned it. So right in the center, really big, we see greed, bankers, disappointment, unequal, oppression, boss. We see rigged, we see exploitation, and boss maybe is new, extraction, that oppression, the stock market, authoritarianism. What else? Keep them coming. You can enter as many as you want. Just keep them coming. A couple more minutes. Imperialism. What else is new? Individualism, I think, is new. Wage slavery. And now exploitation is getting bigger. What else? Resources for the few. Lonely. Colonization. Oppression of the masses. Profit, oppression, corruption, unequal, inequality. Okay, 30 more seconds. Theft, corruption, consumerism, marketing everything, right? Everything's for sale. Dehumanizing. Yeah, extraction is getting bigger as well. And corruption, imperialism is also getting bigger. Lies. Sign of decay. Bourgeoisie dictatorship. Nice. Alienation. Ecocide. Classism. Okay, that's great. You can keep them coming. So what I want you to do is try to capture that word cloud. Try to capture it in your mind's eye, right? And some of this is getting at the definition. A lot of it is just, and you answered the question exactly. What does it mean to you? And you're talking about how it feels, or the impact of capitalism, unfair. Okay, this is a great word cloud. And I'll try to capture this, throw it in the slide so that if you want to access the slide, we'll keep it. Okay, but that's great. Capture that word cloud in your mind, and we're going to go back to the slide deck. So I want to give you a more precise definition of what is capitalism, because if we are ever going to move beyond capitalism, we need to have a little bit of clarity about what is capitalism. So here is where I'm drawing on the Center for Popular Economics experience. So the Center for Popular Economics is a collective of progressive to radical economists. And our mission is to help people better understand how the economy works or doesn't work, as the case may be. So we have been around for over 40 years. Doing popular economics. Our primary target audience are activists, really helping them to have the tools of analysis about the economy to be more effective in their work. And so we use these 5 characteristics to define capitalism. So you need all 5. One alone will not do it. You need all 5. So here they are. Number 1, private ownership of the means of production. So sometimes we call this the MOPS. The means of production. What are the means of production? Those are all the things you need to produce stuff, right? That's your land, your factory, your tools, your inputs, your equipment, all that stuff, right? That's your MOPS. That's your means of production. private ownership means that that is owned, all of that is owned by the capitalists, right? They're the owners, the capitalists, okay? The second thing is you have wage labor, right? Right there you have your workers. They do not own the means of production. They work for a wage. They're paid less than the value of what they're producing. That's where the exploitation is, and that's where profits come from. So right there with the capitalists and the workers, you have class struggle. You have these two classes, and very often, not always, but usually, the capitalists are trying to do that third bullet point, profit maximization, on the backs of the workers, right? They're trying to lower wages, do speed up, degrade working conditions and worker rights, et cetera, right? So this is class struggle. It is inevitable. It is intrinsic. It is inherent. It is unavoidable in capitalism. This class struggle between the capitalists and the workers. Regardless of, there might be some like perfectly good and caring capitalists that really do share power and share profits and even decision-making power with workers as a system. Class struggle is baked in. The fourth element is commodity production, right? You're producing for sale, or capitalists are producing for sale, not necessarily for need, what society needs the most, but what's going to make the most profit. So there are many things, many needs that are unmet because they're not highly profitable. And the fifth characteristic is market exchange, right? There's all of this is mediated by the market. Supply and demand, prices, lots of manipulation as well. But market exchange is fundamental to capitalism. So you need all five. I know I have heard people working in a co-op say, oh yeah, we're a capitalist enterprise because we do commodity production, we produce stuff for sale, and we sell it on a market. And that's actually not technically correct, right? A worker co-op is not a capitalist enterprise because they do not have this class divide, right? The workers are the owners, okay? So it's important to sort of understand what is capitalism if we're ever going to move beyond it. If you believe, like solidarity economy framework absolutely believes, we're not going to get there to that more just, sustainable, equitable, democratic world by reforming capitalism. Oh, sorry, I can do this. All right. So now I wanted to talk a little bit about capitalism and post-capitalism. So first of all, there are different paradigms of capitalism, but there's still capitalism. So there's neoliberalism, which is sort of the cutthroat, laissez-faire, free market model or paradigm that we are seeing now. There's a whole lot of hypocrisy there. It really isn't about free markets and laissez-faire. It really isn't. It's just the rhetoric. There's so much manipulation and corporate welfare that goes on. But anyway, the rhetoric is all about free markets and downsizing the state, right? Like, what is the thing? Grover Norquist saying, trying to shrink down the state till it can be drowned in a bathtub, right? So really undercutting the legitimacy of any kind of state policy, regulation, programs. So that's neoliberalism. New Deal capitalism kind of grew out of the Great Depression. That crisis produced New Deal. You know, under New Deal capitalism, the role of the state was much more legitimized. A safe social safety net was much more legitimized. Public ownership of this, that, and the other was much more legitimized. Yeah, that got all overthrown by the paradigm of neoliberalism. Social democracy, think Scandinavia. Sort of like New Deal capitalism on steroids. Okay, so and that is a little arguable. There are some people that would argue that social democracy, like Scandinavia is actually a third way, that it's not capitalism. We're not gonna get into the debate. I'm gonna say it's still capitalism because so much influence and power is still held by capitalist corporations. Okay, post-capitalism, the second bucket, right? Moving beyond capitalism. So looking at solidarity economy, we would embrace all kinds of democratic forms of socialism, all those different brands or paradigms. And we also would embrace all kinds of other frameworks that maybe don't even have a name for themselves. What we absolutely do not embrace, we're really clear, we do not embrace authoritarian forms of the state socialism, or any other kind of authoritarian models, right? Absolutely, it might be post-capitalist. It is absolutely not solidarity economy. We would not embrace anything that is highly authoritarian. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. Right, yeah. If there was a slogan for neoliberalism, it would be market's good, state bad. Yeah, New Deal, capitalism, social democracy. I think I already talked about all of that. And why does it matter? Why do we need to have a sense of what is capitalism? A lack of clarity about what capitalism is can easily lead to just reforming and thereby strengthening capitalism. And a good example is the New Deal, right? The New Deal really saved capitalism at a time when socialist and communist movements were really gaining a lot of strength and momentum. And it was absolutely clear that FDI very openly stole many of the ideas and policies of socialists and communists and absorbed it into the New Deal. And it really kind of made capitalism a bit more humane. And it stilled those turbulent waters. So it saved capitalism. So we don't want to fall into that trap of pushing for reforms, even though they seem like good things. We should be pushing for transformative reforms, sometimes called non-reformist reforms. And be clear, you have to be clear about what is capitalism in order to sort of be clear about what is transformative. All right. So now I want to turn to solidarity economy, and I would like to invite you all to do a little visualization exercise with me. So if you're willing, please close your eyes. It'll be very quick. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in together. Breathe out. And imagine that your vision for another world, right? Your vision for a more just, a more sustainable, a more green, a more democratic, equitable world has come to pass. So you are now inhabiting that other world. So you're starting off at home, whatever that might look like. So just feel your home for a second. Look around you. What is your home like? Walk out of your home and you are going somewhere. I don't know where that is, but you're going somewhere. You have some destination. And you're traveling along, however you're traveling, whether it's by some kind of a vehicle or bicycle or horseback or walking, astral projecting, whatever you're doing, you're on your way to someplace. And along the way, what do you see? What do you hear? Who do you see? What do you see? Do you interact? So inhabit your journey. And now you arrive at your destination. And whatever you came there to do, enjoy that a little bit. experience that for just a second. Okay, your journey is at an end. Open your eyes, take a deep breath in, a deep breath out, and feel that other world. And here's another word cloud for you. Same QR code, same Mentimeter. This time, oh, I'm gonna have to get there. Hold on a second. I have to advance the slide. Okay, so this time, you're going to be answering the question, what values anchor your vision, what you just experienced and visualized? Socialism, what values anchor your vision? What values? Okay, we have democracy, we have solidarity, we have content or content. We have love, community, worker cooperatives, walkable, food security, we have nature, ecology, public transportation, did I say that already? Honesty, equity, empathy, trees, socialism, I've said that already, love, food security, my reality, accessibility, solidarity, half earth, I don't know what that means. Cooperation, pollinators, sharing food, accessibility, calm, connection, abundance, pollinators, empathy. Yeah, so big letters are community, nature, food security, relaxed, nice. Love, empathy are pretty big. Walkable is pretty big. Nature, trees, socialism. What am I missing? Solar punk. Honesty, universal basic services. A couple more seconds, get them in there. Accessibility, I said that already. Naturist. Humility. Dictatorship of the snobs. Not sure what that means. This is fun. Oh, government corruption. That's interesting. Gardens. Equity. What's new here? Ubi. Arts, culture, family. Yeah, there's a bunch of things that I don't know what these are. Oh, musical, nice. Okay, again, clean. Great, wonderful, wonderful, lovely. And again, I will try to capture this and throw it into the slides so you could keep them coming. Vibrant, let's see. Resource-based economy. Yeah, this is great, beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the slide deck. You can keep doing that if you want. All right. And like I said, try to keep that word cloud in your mind. It was very beautiful. And now I want to give you a more precise definition of solidarity economy. And so this definition draws from both the US Solidarity Economy Network, that's USCEN, and REPES, which makes sense in French and Spanish, but in English, not so much. It's basically the International Solidarity Economy Network. So REPES engaged in a 2-year international consultation process to try to build at least a basic agreed upon shared language and definition of solidarity economy. And so this definition really draws from that, squares with that, and also what US Solidarity Economy or USCEN uses. So no, it's all these things, it's different things. Number one, it's a framework, right? I wouldn't quite call it a theory. I would call it a framework. And it is a framework that connects up solidarity economy practices and of course the people, right? The practitioners, right? So it's a framework. That framework connects up solidarity economy practices. And those solidarity economy practices are those that are aligned with solidarity economy values. And you will see, I think, pretty much every single one of these: solidarity, cooperation, mutualism, democracy, participatory democracy, way beyond just voting, right? Democracy in the workplace, democracy in your communities, etc. Equity in all dimensions: race, class, gender, etc., 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 and sustainability. Those were all things that I saw in the word cloud. The one that probably wasn't there is pluralism, which is really an important value because it really prevents solidarity economy from getting too rigid, too much of a blueprint, too much of a my way or the highway. We believe that there are many paths to getting to that more just, sustainable, democratic, equitable world. There are many paths. It's going to vary: time, place, culture, different histories, different cultures, different experiences, different political, economic realities, right? So this is really important, right? That kind of acceptance of different, in the words of the Zapatistas, a world in which many worlds fit, is very important to solidarity. All right, so all of this, you take all of this as the framework that connects practices grounded in solidarity, or that align with solidarity economy values. All of this is to articulate and breathe life into a post-capitalist world. So solidarity economy is very clear about being post-capitalist in our vision, our aspiration, our dreams, and our hopes, and where we want to go. We do not believe that we're going to get there, to that other world, by reforming capitalism. Really clear. That is a position. Some people believe we're going to get there by reforming capitalism. If so, fine, that's a position, but it's not solidarity economy. So we are clear. We do not believe that you can possibly reform capitalism and get there. And just a few indications that that there's a lot of there's a lot of legs to the solidarity economy. It is a global movement. In fact, the US is a kind of a latecomer. It was much stronger in Latin America, Canada, and Europe than it was here when we first started, really in 2007, which is when USN was founded. So REPES, I already mentioned, is the international network. The International Labor Organization, the ILO, runs an annual Solidarity Economy Academy. The UN has a task force. The United Nations has a task force on the solidarity economy, and they just issued a declaration really upholding solidarity economy across all their SDGs, their sustainable development goals. And it was just centering solidarity economy as a really key way of moving forward. Solidarity economy is enshrined in a couple of constitutions, Bolivia and Ecuador, and there are at least 12 countries that have national policy frameworks in support of solidarity economy. So across different departments of the government, the directive is to support solidarity. So there's a lot of legs there. We're not building from scratch. Yeah, so just imagine solidarity economy in your life instead of capitalism. So we have transformative justice instead of policing. We have community control instead of monopolies. You have worker owners instead of a boss, community land trusts instead of landlords. You have credit unions maybe instead of a bank. You have participatory democracy instead of representative. You have tenant unions instead of landlords. Just imagine. This is just a quick snapshot. It is not exhaustive, but just to show that there is this huge foundation to build on. Solidarity economy exists in all sectors of the economy, right? Production, reproduction, distribution, exchange, consumption, finance, and governance. So these are just a few examples you will notice some of these are old, ancient, right? Human beings have been doing these things ever since human societies have existed, right? Like whether they were formally co-op or formal co-ops, or there was just cooperation, right? That is ancient, ancient, ancient. Do it yourself, ancient, ancient, ancient. So some of this is very old, embedded in throughout all cultures. Some of them are kind of newer formations. Maybe participatory budgeting might be a little bit newer, or whatever. Some are maybe alternative, and some are mainstream. So look at the public sector. Surely some parts of the public sector are keepers in our other world, right? Like I would expect public education. Yes, it needs to be reformed. It needs to be recaptured, de-corporatized. But my guess is most of us would agree that public education is a good thing. And there's probably some regulations we want to keep, or public libraries, right? There are probably keepers, right? Very mainstream things that we would embrace as being part of solidarity economy. The last one I want to pull out here is under production, reproduction. The third bullet point down is care work. Whether it's paid or unpaid care work, it's something that we almost all of us engage in, right? Whether it's taking care of our parents, our children, our brothers and sisters, our neighbors, our friends, we all engage in this. And if we had to pay somebody for childcare or elder care or whatever, right, it's quite expensive. And just because we do it out of love and caring and mutualism, it's valuable economic activity and should be respected as such, even if it is unwaged. And as such, it's something that even if you look around you and you feel like, oh, there's no solidarity economy, there's no co-ops or community land trusts or whatever happening around me, at the very least, right, there's care work going on around you and in your own lives and in your community every day. Okay. Yeah, I could say much more about this, but one important point is, to the extent that solidarity economy is the build, right? Building economic alternative enterprises and structures. It's also important to connect with the resist both in terms of grassroots organizing and social movements, as well as the political electoral work and the policy work, right? These pieces all need to work together. The build in isolation of those grassroots movements run the risk of becoming kind of inward-looking, self-absorbed, disconnected from the very real struggles on the front lines of the most impacted communities, right? So it's important to always try to make those connections. And then in this process, this resist and build process, we also realize that the importance and the cross-cutting nature of culture and interpersonal relationships, right? This is kind of, if you know the term hegemony, right? This is all about how is the current structure maintained, right? It's not necessarily through force. A lot of it is just, it's the culture that we all live and breathe without even questioning or recognizing. So that's very important. Okay. I'm going to wrap up with this metaphor. Let me just do a time check. Okay, I think we're good. I want to share this metaphor of imaginal selves. So when a caterpillar spins its chrysalis, its body starts to dissolve into this nutrient-rich goop. And in that goop are these things called imaginal cells. And those imaginal cells have a different vision of what it could be. So different and so foreign that what's left of the immune system of the caterpillar starts to attack those imaginal cells and kills them. Some of them survive, and they recognize each other as having a common vision, and they start to come together and they start to clump And as they clump and come together, they're better able to withstand the attack of the immune system. And then as they continue to come together and clump, then they start to specialize. And some become a wing, and some become an eye, and some become an antenna, and some become the body, until it emerges as this entirely different creature, a butterfly. And this is a nice metaphor for solidarity economy, because right now, if you think back to that table with examples in all these different sectors, right, those are like all these imaginal cells of another world, of a new world, of solidarity economy, right? We haven't yet found each other. Fortunately, I don't feel like necessarily we're under attack, because we're not visible enough, we're not a threat enough, or those immune killer cells haven't found us yet. But we have yet to recognize each other and really seriously figure it out how to connect and specialize to really, really, really articulate and realize a system. Right now, we are in silos. Like, here's a nice co-op here, and here's a nice community land trust there, and we don't have enough connective tissue. Now, the solidarity economy offers that framework to connect up all these pieces, old and new, mainstream and alternative, that exist throughout the world, throughout every culture, and every tradition. If you look and open your eyes, you'll see them all around you. Okay, so I'm going to end the presentation there, and we're going to do this exercise. I think, let me stop the screen share. So, yeah, hopefully you'll see the link to this slide deck in the chat. And you're going to open that up, and you're going to join your small group. Let's see, how many people? We have 40 people. I think if we did 8 breakouts, and if you want to just randomly, Holly, if you want to just randomly assign people to 8 breakout groups. Okay. Sorry?
I'm looking for 8. Let's see. 8 ones. Okay.
8 breakouts. And let me I'm going to do a screen share and show you the cards. So group number 1, like if you're going to break out room number 1, you'll be group 1. So you will look at these cards. Group 1, you'll look at 4 cards. Whoops. You'll be looking at, this is the first one. Read it together as a group. This is your second one. This is your third one. This is your fourth. Okay. Group number 2, if you're going into breakout group room number 2, you're group 2. You're grabbing this slide. Okay. And you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Right? Depending on your room number, you're going to be you're starting at slide number 17, right? Just scroll on down to your slide for your group number. There's a whole bunch here. There's more than 8. Yeah. Okay. Is that clear? So you're going into your rooms, you're looking at your 4 cards, you're reading that as a group. You could read it out loud or read it however you decide. Don't spend a lot of time deciding. Read those cards, and your assignment is to choose a favorite. As a group, pick your favorite of the 4. Which one is your favorite? Be prepared. Somebody in your group, please be prepared to share back what was your favorite. Do a brief description of what your favorite card is, right? Please don't read it if you can avoid it. Just summarize. And then why it was your favorite. Clear? read all the cards together, pick a favorite, pick somebody who can report back. What was your favorite? Brief description, summary, and why it was your favorite. Okay.
How do you know,
Sorry, go ahead.
how do you know which group you're in?
You will be assigned to a randomly, you should be invited into a group, into a room. Just make a note of what room number you're in. And that will correlate to your group number.
You'll see when I'll click a button and everyone will get a notice that they can join a particular room.
Okay.
And so I think we have 20 minutes in the small group rooms. Yeah, introduce yourself. You should have content, introduce yourself, meet some people, and then we'll come back and we'll do that share back. And every group will have no more than a minute to do that. Okay? All right, have fun. Now, Holly, you should go ahead and just join a group, and I will sit in this room. So if anybody has a problem, they can always come back, and I can get them to their room. So feel free just to join whichever group makes sense.
I think everybody is in a room. It's hard for me to tell exactly, but
No, anybody you're seeing in this room here?
I see one unassigned. That may be you. And you can actually look at all the different rooms if you want to go in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So everybody that you're seeing in this room, though, so Craig and Rich and Laura and Aaron, Patrick, Chris, and Kelton have not joined a room yet. So I do want to know if any of you are having trouble joining. Did you not get an invite? Okay. So Holly, just so that you can participate, go ahead and join a room and I can get people sorted. I can look at the breakout rooms and drop people in. Is that true for everybody? Everybody's, do you know how to get into a room yourself? Go to breakouts and just drop yourself wherever you want to be.
I can't drop myself in actually.
All right,
Which is okay, but I'm looking at some of these. So to drop a person into a breakout room, you can go and do you know how to do that?
The only person who I see is unassigned is Craig. So I'm going to drop Craig. I'm going to assign you to room 2 because there's hardly anybody there. So you just have to accept the invitation. Yep. There are a bunch of people that they've been invited and they haven't joined it.
Okay, so I'll tell you what you can do is if you click on the person's up with the name, you'll see a little blue sign. You click on.
Oh, there isn't a room set. Oh.
Then you can click. You get a drop down menu and it says assigned or put in waiting room. Oh no, I don't want to put in a waiting room.
Okay.
Okay, so you can click move to.
I'm gonna just move people around. Because there are people who haven't joined, and I'm just gonna put them because there's tons of people in room 1. I'm just gonna start moving people around. Let me see if this works. So I'm gonna move them to 3. Let's see if that works. I'm gonna move Patrick to 6. See if that works. I'm gonna move Kelton to 6 and move. Yeah, I don't know why people are not joining.
Well, now one just came back. This is odd.
Okay, so hey Kelton, can you come off mute for a second? Are you there, Kelton?
Now I'm looking at all. Actually,
maybe some people have.
There's only one person that I saw, and I just threw that person to somebody. Okay, it looks like everybody is indeed.
Okay,
now in one of the
okay. So there's only, it's fine. I suspect. So anybody who is in this room and is hearing me, could you please come off mute if you need help getting into your room? You could, otherwise I'm gonna assume that you have, okay. Actually, it worked. Okay, so you can't do a breakout, that's fine. Anybody else having trouble? And if not, I'm gonna assume that for whatever reason, you do not want to join a breakout room. I don't see, Holly, I don't see anybody who's having a problem. I think they've opted not to join. So why don't
Okay.
you just go ahead and drop yourself into whatever room? Can you do that, or should I do it?
Well, I don't know that you can see, and I'm not
Oh,
seeing myself on this, so you might just go ahead and leave me here.
I'm gonna put Laura Potts in room 2 because it's very small. Where are you? You know, you should be able to just join. Like if
Yeah,
you
I know, but it's not, let me see here.
Oh,
Well,
Crystal,
I could actually just get into one of the rooms, that's true.
yes. Could you join Crystal in room 8? Crystal is all by themselves.
Ah, okay,
So at least there will be 2 of you there.
fucking room 8, okay. Okay,
Oh, did you set a timer or should I just time it?
all at once.
Yes. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you had a good chat. Let's just go group by group. It was a little confusing. Not all 8 groups happened at all. So let's just see what we can do, starting with group 1. I know that was actually a pretty large group. Is there a rapporteur from that group?
Hi. We talked through the 4, and the one that seemed to stand out the most. It's very hard to pick a favorite when they all sound very good. But the one that seemed to stand out the most to us was the last of the 4, the one called Spirit House.
Describe it just a little bit, just a little summary, high level summary.
They have what they call a harm-free zone, and it's really focused on teaching and training to like solve conflicts without law enforcement and how to get out of the horrible cycle of the incarceration problem. I think that's pretty succinct.
Great. Yeah, thank you. And why did you pick that one? Any particular reason or thought?
Well, the emphasis on, as they call it, the multi-generational Black women-led cultural organizing. The organizing around your community and culture was very strong in this one, as well as in the second one, but tackling such a focused problem as the incarceration and police state, I think is what really drew us to it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Anybody else from that group number 1 want to chime in? Great, thank you so much. What about group 2? Group 2 did happen, right? There were people in that room.
Yeah, group 2, yeah, we had 3 people. Do you want me to keep talking?
Yes.
We all agreed on the one called Gaviotas, which is because, and the reason we picked it is something that's already happened. The other ones were more goal oriented. This one started in 1966 in Colombia, and it's a self-sustaining community. They have all the needs of people. What?
No,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Okay, all the needs of people are being met, whereas they don't have all the extras. They have organic farming. They have you know, everybody gets housing, meals, and schooling. There are no weapons, no police, no jail. You know, very environmental. They self-sustaining. Their own energy supply. Anyway, it sounds like a place that all of us would love to move to. And so the other ones were good, but this one was already happening, and so we picked that one.
Great. Yeah, thank you.
Anything else want to add anything, Craig, Laura?
I want to pack my bags and go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Yes, and you all have access to the card, so if it's intriguing, you can go look at it. Thank you so much. Perfect. How about group 3 or room 3?
And Link, it was me and Mick. It was just the 2 of us. And so we each liked something a lot. So we're each going to talk about the thing that we liked.
Okay.
The one for me was, it's called the Wellspring Cooperative. And I'll just read the introduction. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was just saying that's my org.
Okay. It's slide 31. It's a nonprofit developing a network of worker co-ops in Springfield, Massachusetts, to provide job and wealth building opportunities in the city's underserved communities. The thing I liked about it was the support for people wanting to support a co-op. And it seemed like it would have a ripple effect, like that would be sort of exponential, that as each group formed, they would get to know other people, and then that would stimulate the, you know, the formation of more co-ops doing the same thing. So that's what I liked about that.
Great, thank you. Who's the other person?
It's me, Nikhil Ananda from Maui. So if I knew that that organization was yours, Emily, I would have chosen that one too. Thank you for laughing. So I chose, when we finally figured out that we had 4 choices, and they all are fascinating. I lean towards participatory budgeting, based, I guess, on my political and community activism. And Anne was great in saying that they actually have that in New York. Or maybe it's Brooklyn where she is and where I was born. So we have this connection. And I appreciate it because the thing that is kept me as a Green for over 32 years and coming back for more is the grassrootsness of our vision on how to do things. And what I see constantly, not only on this little dot of a island in the middle of the ocean, is that it's really top down. Decisions keep on being made by elected officials or certain committees or whatever. And that really detaches human beings from any ownership to their community. And you see the lack of political engagement, et cetera. So I have to say that all 4 were quite fascinating, and it would be like lots of things. It would be great if we had more of them around, and instead around the planet, we have a few examples of how we could turn this life that we have around.
Yeah.
So thank you for allowing me to share.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for the share back. Yeah, so what was that? Was that 3? Was there a 4? Did room 4 meet? Yeah, go ahead. Who's reporting?
Hi. Talk, we decided to move into community land trusts. Essentially, they're separate corporations and they buy the land and they keep the land. They just hold on to it. So that way they can't still buy it, but make it unaffordable for everyone. They can sell the houses, but not the land under the houses, and that makes it more affordable. And then they'll buy back the houses when the family living in them wants to sell it. And they'll keep things affordable for the community for years to come. And we just really like that because housing's a big issue right now.
Thank you. Yes. And there's quite a tick in community land trust formations. Yeah. Growing fast. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. What about 5? Did 5 happen? There were some rooms that were just empty. Looks like 5 did not happen.
I'm legally blind, and when I left this one main room that we're all in, I was in I think I was in a room, but I was alone, and I didn't see anyone else, and I don't know what I hit because
Sorry.
I ended up in.
Yeah, there were some people that. Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
I ended up in a room alone, and then I hit some button. I'm not sure what it was, but it took me into group 4. And one of the things I brought up is, which is not really talked about a lot, but about disability and accessibility. And when it comes to education as well, about that, I've noticed myself being legally blind and using a power wheelchair. I see a lot of things just on a regular basis throughout my own life. And like I mentioned in the group, I said that I wish that education about disability and accessibility were taught from preschool all the way through college, and it would be for anyone, whether you're disabled or not.
Yeah.
And that's important because anyone from whether someone's black, white, or, no matter where someone comes from, that person can end up with a disability at any time in their life.
Right, yes. That's a good point. And we probably are somewhat lacking in cards that are lifting up solutions like that. So thank you for that input. Kathy?
Yeah, sorry.
ahead.
Yeah,
Are
I think,
you addressing
well, I don't, I think, I don't know whether there were any groups beyond 4, but I had wanted to make a comment about the Community Land Trust, but is it okay, or do we have enough time for a comment or no?
I want to get through the groups. We're supposed to stop at 6.
Oh, keep going.
Yeah, so let me go get through the groups. I don't know if we're gonna get shut off. Like I don't know if this room needs to be used for the next thing. So let's finish these. Maybe we have time to talk.
The next
okay,
one
let's
doesn't
go.
begin till 1 or in an hour.
In an hour. Okay, so we have a little bit of it for anybody, but let's try to finish up the rooms and people can leave if they need to leave. So we're at 5. Did room 5 meet? Sounds like not. How about room 6? Did room 6 meet? Going once, going twice. Okay, what about room 7? Did room 7 meet? Sounds like not. What about room 8? I think there were 2 people in room 8.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I was in room 8 and there was of course really great slides, community supported agriculture, Pioneer Valley Worker Center. The one that I chose as my favorite was Cowrie Collective Time Bank because I had never heard of that before. And I was like, oh, it's so cool to just see how things are possible if we, put our minds to it, if we come together. And basically the Cowrie Collective Time Bank is in St. Louis, and there's 160 people in the community so far and growing. And everybody who works, whatever skills they're good at, they log their time, their hours that they put those skills to use. So they did an hour of childcare. So they can now, the time bank records the hours that you put in, and now you can use those hours to, let's say, use that hour to get a massage from somebody. So you can collect those hours and use them. The community can use them to get their desires and needs met. It is also in South Africa and other countries around the world. So it's kind of a cool project.
Yeah. A lot of time banking initiatives also have been popping up. A lot of these examples, they're growing, right? They're partly because people are they're somewhat disillusioned with the status quo, but sometimes it's also just survival, right? This is traditionally how especially very under-resourced communities survive, all these kind of solidarity economy strategies. So thank you. Anything else from that room 8? I think that was it then. So I guess given that we're a little bit over time, I want to invite, first of all, thank everybody for coming. Anybody that needs to leave, please feel free. I'm happy to stay on for an extra 10 minutes or so. If anybody wants to talk about community land trust or anything else. So yes, thank you for coming. Feel free to leave. You are released from this workshop. Anybody wanting to stay, let's hang out and chat a little bit.
Thank you, Emily. That was really informative. Really interesting. I'm going to go and research more.
Oh, good. Excellent. And grab that slide deck link, if you're interested. Yeah. All right. Kathy, let's circle back to your question or comment.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, and I really do like that slideshow. It's a great resource. I was just going to comment that, there are these, I don't know if they're called CRAs everywhere, but community redevelopment associations or whatever they are, and they put funding, they use funds to help in the areas of low income or low development. But what they have found is overall, it's really funneling money that ends up in the wealthier hands. It's kind of like it really doesn't serve what they say they're going to. But with community land trusts, when that's being used instead to really help anchor that land and let, and kind of help ensure that for the long term, people actually have affordable housing and so on. It's just such a better turnaround. Otherwise, they're putting money towards developers who end up, providing affordable housing for a short period of time. It might be 7 years or whatever. And then they have, received all this money that just they use. Anyway, that's all.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Community land trusts have a pretty good track record. Not perfect, but yeah, pretty good track record. Any other questions or comments or yeah, whatever?
I was gonna say, like I personally believe in things like public transportation. I wish that all over the United States we've had the ability of having, high-speed maglev that could get people around the country. Because I know, as a disabled person in a wheelchair, if I want to fly somewhere, one, it's very expensive, and two, going through security is a huge joke, especially if you're trying to get yourself and your mobility aids and that through.
Mhm.
And then when you go to get on an airplane, you have to have passenger assistance lift you out of your chair, put you on a stair chair, take you down the aisle. But then, like my $80,000 power chair, I'm always worried that, are they going to damage that? Because
Right.
when I get to my destination, I need that
No.
to get around. And but
good point.
you can get on a city bus or a light rail train or a front runner commuter rail train, and you can stay in your wheelchair. But if you want to get on a plane, you can't do that.
Good point. Yeah, and trains are fun.
Uh-huh.
Much more fun than airplanes. Yeah.
I mean, I love to fly,
Uh-huh.
but I don't like going through the extra BS you have to go through, especially ever since ever since 9/11.
Yeah.
It's just, flying a long time ago when I was younger, I just go through security real quickly and I just get on the plane. And
clearly it's a hassle. Yeah. It makes sense that we need more choices, right? A diverse array of transportation. I'm gonna try to make some room for other folks.
All right.
Other comments, questions? Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, go ahead. I'm not going to try to pronounce your name.
Emily, you can try to pronounce my name. You'll get close.
Nanda.
There, you got it perfect. Everyone freaks out when they see it, and it's no different than Emily or Laura or Aaron. First of all, thank you for the presentation. Thank you, Holly, for everything you do and keeping this going. And also, I see that Ann left already. Adam's comments, that's what's really important. I had a father that was a triple amputee from World War II, so I grew up with him before the Americans with Disability Act was passed. So I watched him maneuver things. And so people who actually are impacted by things, homeless people, houseless people, whatever. So Adam shared stuff that it doesn't even occur to me because it doesn't impact my life. And so we need a lot more participatory involvement of people with children, for example, so I can go on and on with the people that are actually impacted. And we have this cookie cutter thing for the masses, and you can think of all kinds of examples. So I just want to thank his input because it points out just in one world, left-handed people, I can go on and on. So thank you for the comments, because he is directly dealing with something that 99.9% people do not have to. And there's lots of examples. But Emily, finally, thank you for this presentation. I'm always blown away by how brilliant the people that offer these presentations are. So mahalo.
Mahalo. Any other comments, thoughts you want to share? Going once, going twice. And if not, I guess I'll just say again, thank you for joining. Appreciate you coming and spending some time chatting about solidarity economy. Hope it was useful. And yeah, feel free to grab that slide deck. It's pretty much open source, right? If you want to share that with others, it's fine. And
I was gonna, sorry, I was just gonna say, it's hard for me to see the slide, so I don't know how to get to it on here. That like web accessibility is a big thing too, and so
no, that's a challenge. I don't know what's a solution for that. Like, how do you access things that are online?
some things are very difficult, unfortunately. Like since this whole convention has been online, it's a lot different than being in person, where someone can say, "Hey, here's a QR code you can scan," or like if I'm on my phone now, I can't scan a QR code even if one's put on the screen. So
yeah, I don't.
Emily, maybe it's possible that
there a
it gets sent to Adam.
Sent directly as an email? Does that help?
Or even a text message would probably be better than email.
So I could send a text with the link.
Yeah.
The link, does that work? If it's
that would work.
Text, I could do that.
I can give you my number.
Yeah, drop it in the. Can you drop it in the chat?
Not very well.
Okay, you can just say it and I'll write it down.
It's 801-915.
Yeah, go ahead. Wait, sorry.
It's 801.
801.
915.
915.
4003.
4003. Okay, I'll text you the link.
All right.
Yeah, cool. Great. I learned something. Excellent. Good.
We all do.
What's that? Yeah, we all learned something. Yeah, it's all good. All good.
Thank you.
All right.
Does the Green Party of the United States have a disability caucus?
They are, colleague, I can speak to this because I've remember there's been several attempts to form one. And Chanel Pittman, if you know who that is, she's the one I think who's the contact person for that. They've been trying to, and David Gary, they've been trying to get that up and running again. So maybe coming out of this, that's one thing we can go back and look into, because that had gotten several starts and then just kind of out. But yeah, there's definitely an interest. I think Chanel Pittman is the one currently the contact person for that. So maybe we can follow up with that after the PNC.
All right.
That would be wonderful, because I was wondering too if the convention, I don't know how all of it gets set up, but if there was an accessibility like panel that had discussed things like issues with if people use screen readers and how things come across on screen readers and the ability to work with stuff like that. It's not my area of specialty by any means, but I've heard it talked about by others for very different conventions, but yeah.
I would say going forward, that's something the committee that puts these together can, I mean, they had kind of a mission to include accessibility, but that's always something that kind of gets left out until somebody needs something. So this helps be more proactive, you know, so you can say, okay, we know we're going to need this, this, and this, you know, they'll do the.
And Adam,
planning.
I just texted it to you, so I hope.
Okay. Yeah, I think I heard my thing chime on. So, yeah.
Yeah, good. But I don't know what good that will do, right? Because the slides, how can you see slides?
I mean, it depends on how big everything is. One thing with like web accessibility is like audio description of things, like whenever someone's giving a presentation for people who are blind and visually impaired, it's nice to be able to have like a description of the slide, like when someone's you know, saying, like, if let's say a slide has a blue background with white letters and it says, and let's say there's a butterfly that's pink on there, you know, whenever someone's presenting a presentation, it's nice to be able to describe what's on the slide. You know, like a simple but quick description that really describes it.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, gotcha. So in the presentation, it would be nice if the presenter is saying, okay, here's a slide, it shows this, there's a butterfly,
and then they go on with the rest, of the presentation, and then when it comes to the next slide, they do a brief, you know, this slide is like, just, you know, that way it makes it more accessible for someone who can't see what anyone else can see on the screen.
Yeah. Okay.
Just something to take back to the table, you know, after the convention, and you know what I'm saying? Kind of like, it'd be nice if we could do this to make it easier in the future, and you know.
Definitely.
So I'm gonna sign off, and thank you all again for spending time together. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, take care, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, bye. Have a good night.
Thank you, Emily. Aloha and mahalo.
Aloha.
Have a good evening. See you later on.
Bye.